bro?
Had a little internet issue today. Completely dropped. Shout out to Spectrum. But we're back. It came right back on in time for the show. It says that it's intermittent outage, and I'm currently online, as you guys can see. So let's just kind of bear with it. And I know Pixie threw down for this show, and the internet gods did anything they could to try to stop it, Pixie. But here we are. Chuck Norris, Invasion USA. Pulling it up on the IMDb, right? Meow. 1985, Invasion USA. A one-man army comes to rescue when the United States are invaded by communists. You guys can watch this free on Tubi. And without further ado, Gaz and I will get into it. How's it going, Jack Death, brother, PXM?
It's not going bad, man. It's not going bad, man. Been stuck to get into this for quite some time, so apologies if I start fanboying or getting overly amped throughout this review. It's likely to happen. Yeah, man. Good.
100%.
And hopefully we haven't lost Ross, folks. As I say, Ross was having some technical issues. The internet did drop, hence the late start today. If it's
there in the UK.
I think he's back. Yeah, welcome back, man.
Okay, guys, there might be some intermittent.
It seems to be. They don't want us to cover this this movie for some reason.
Yeah, no.
We've tried.
Too hardcore, maybe too realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be some blips on my end, guys. Just it's just what it is today, so we're just kind of dealing with that. But Pixie, hopefully you'll be able to pull up. You were hyped for this.
Yeah, we do deliver, Pixie. We've got there in the end. We haven't let Chuck down, and we're going to fight through this with his spirit in mind as well.
Yeah, when Chuck Norris goes into water, he doesn't get wet. Water gets Chuck Norris. So we all know that's a Chuck Norris factoid. You know what I mean? Very, very important knowledge.
Well, you know, this movie's so legendary, man. I feel it's kind of like the unofficial sequel to The Patriot before that idea formed in Mel Gibson's head. That's how legendary this movie is.
I actually don't mind The Patriot. Like, that movie gets, like, roasted, you know, but, like, it's still R-rated.
It's not
you
that
know
bad.
what I mean? Yeah, Gaz and I are both suckers for revolutionary historical pictures. So.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And I mean, I think it's historical fact. I've got to say, joking. If you've got the magical stars and stripes there, cannonballs and muskets can just bounce off. No problem. So
yeah,
it's
100%.
Historical fact.
Yeah, that's physics. I mean, that's just basic Isaac Newton. Everybody knows that. 6 months late on my PXF hoodie, guys, but it finally arrived. So if anybody's having trouble with spring or your orders are late, just please contact me and I'll let them know. Although they probably won't, jump when I say how high. But yeah, mine finally came in. So I still have the T-shirt. So yeah, go get your beer glasses, your dog tags, your hoodies, your T-shirts over on Spring, or we usually have them posted beneath each show. But without further ado, as we told you all, Invasion USA, Gaz and Pixie brought this legendary classic to us, and should be a banger. I'm looking at the tube right now, and it looks like it's not going to let me load it on my phone. Okay, well, we'll figure it out later. We'll just assume that this is going to go live when we're done as usual here. Like I said, guys, it's a rare, like, just kind of messed up internet outage day. So if you can get beyond that with us, then we'll be locking in here and delivering you what you're used to. Well, first and foremost, you guys should all go to Minty Comedic Arts top 10, because I think he's the best, like, top 10 movie facts on YouTube, and he's got Invasion USA. I think he posted it like a couple weeks ago or something, which is funny because he just did his, and now here we are doing ours. As you guys know, the film stars Chuck Norris as Matt Hunter, Richard Lynch as Rostov, Melissa Prophet as McGuire. I think she's the reporter. Alexander Azale as Nico, directed by Joseph Zito, and the rest of the actors and characters don't really matter much because there is like essentially no plot in this film, which is something you guys will learn when you watch it. Man, I don't know why my throat's so jacked today, guys. You take over.
Yeah, we're suffering some both attacks of the allergies and internet outage today, folks. But I just want to bring up this interesting fun fact before we get to this review. So we do have something else planned to cover a movie called Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff and Steve James from the American Ninja movies. And the interesting thing is, it was initially intended as a semi-sequel to Invasion USA. It shares the same main character name, Matt Hunter. So that's going to be very interesting when we get to that. So this is going to flow nicely with the things that we have on the schedule. Something I think as well that I noticed with Invasion USA is the cheesy yet grabbing score as well.
Dude, I thought that was one of the stronger parts. The music was actually amazing. Now the sound editing might be the worst sound editing of any film I've ever watched.
Yeah, it drops, doesn't it? Yeah,
dude, it's so low. Most Dangerous Game up here, guys. So Avenging Force, as Gaz stated, it kind of takes this Matt Hunter Invasion USA concept into Most Dangerous Game territory, and that is covered on Wiki. So Chuck Norris and his brother Aaron were involved in the writing of this one, directed by Joseph Zito, as we said, and involves the star fighting off of a force of Soviet/Cuban-led guerrillas, made in Greater Atlanta and Fort Pierce, Florida. Miami landmarks such as the Dadeland Mall and Miracle Mile can also be seen in the film. The 86 film Avenging Force was originally intended as a sequel until Chuck Norris turned it down. It was instead made as a standalone film starring Michael Dudikoff, as Gaz said, sharing only the protagonist's name. So it's like a semi-sequel Matt Hunter spin-off side adventure. So we're looking forward to definitely getting that. And of course, I'll cover it on Patreon. You guys can subscribe for free on the Patreon with Gmail. So yeah, we'll definitely be covering that down the line. Yeah, we could. So, I don't know if you know this, Gaz, but like half of my family lives down there in Florida in the Fort Lauderdale area where they they film some of this stuff. So I instantly recognized Florida right away. I mean, I growing up, I went down there to the Everglades and such. So I'm like, seeing the Everglade boats and Matt Hunter's friend. What was that dude's name? Basically when I watched it on Tubi, guys, I think was he. Was that Colin Tomas or
was he played? Are you thinking of John Eagle, played by, I'm probably going to butcher his name, De Berti?
Is that the dude he was with on the water in the beginning?
Yeah.
That Hunter was with.
Okay, the guy who was selling the gators as well, I think.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, guys, like the amount that this movie was hyped up. I mean, obviously, go watch the trailer. It's absolutely hilarious. It will get you hype. I thought that it would pop off a lot early, Gaz, but there's basically like 45 minutes of dead space in the build up before the invasion really pops off. And for an hour 45-minute movie of Invasion USA, it did kind of kill the pacing. But once it pops off, it just goes. Like I said, because it's light on the plot. But I would have liked it to just pop off a little bit sooner because, like, it really didn't do any character building of Hunter other than like that agent takes the rowboat to the house to go ask him to take the mission, and you think he turns it down that first time, right? So, and then they kind of go back and forth, and finally Hunter takes the mission. It's kind of hilarious because like the concept of a foreign invading force just marauding Florida and Atlanta and having to go to one former special agent to take them out and not using the National Guard or any SWAT. You don't even see SWAT once in this movie.
Yeah, it's budget management. Budget management.
Where's local law enforcement? Where's local law enforcement? When you take a look at like the Zodiac investigation, you have like Napa County, Solano sheriffs, Benicia, VPD, SFPD, the FBI. That's literally for one serial killer, and you're telling me that an entire invading force, they're like, well, they're going around blowing away people at random clubs, but maybe we should get one of our former agents to go help us. You know what I mean? It's like the whole concept is ridiculous.
That's what the charm of it is, though, is because it's so 100%. Ridiculously bad it's somehow becomes legendary and
100%.
entertaining. Because yes, you are right, because there is too much of a slow pace. Don't get me wrong, I like this movie. It's entertaining as hell. But it's kind of tricky because there's a few scenes where you think it's about to pop off. And I mean, there's one scene particularly, Ross, featuring Rostov. Spoilers alert,
Yeah.
folks, the main villain. He's in a lot of these action movies from
Dude's hilarious.
back in the day. And the only sense you get of any kind of character building, how my throat's going to go, is kind of, I think, a dream Matt Hunter is having regarding Rostov, I think. And Rostov kind of has some nightmares about Matt Hunter. So it's kind of unresolved. They're both going to face off. And that's kind of what it's building to. Now, there is a scene, a very brutal scene, which I don't think they would get away with doing it by today's standards. And that's a scene where Rostov goes to this hotel, has a conversation with an actor that usually plays a lot of villain roles in 80s and 90s movies. I'm just thinking, is his name Billy Drago? Yes, it is Billy Drago who plays Mickey. And Ross, that scene, spoiler alert, folks, as that develops and Rostov just goes crazy, starts, beating up Billy Drago's character, and then assaults the woman. It's one brutal with how he does that, and then throws her out the window as well. So you do think, right, this is going to start popping off, and then it just slows down again. After that, you just get the slowdown, and that happens quite a bit, I'd say, Ross, for the first 45 minutes. Even the other scene where some of the communists are posing as law enforcement, trying to sow some disharmony in the local community. Yeah. That happens. I do think one of the most hilarious scenes in the movie as well, and you see this isn't in the trailer, is where all the communists are getting out of the boats and casually just walk on the beach. Is like, yeah, we're on vacation. Just
there's
walk there in a post.
A little bit to unpack there. So there's a couple.
Sorry, folks, I'm getting a bit amped.
Yeah, it's all good. There's a couple making out on the beach, and they're watching a portable TV, and I believe this is Rostov's right-hand man, Nico, and he kind of shoots the guy, then he shoots the girl, and then I forget what they're watching on TV. It's like Some Like It Hot or something like that. It's like a Liberace joke, and then he laughs at the TV, and then they all kind of storm in. So like Gaz said, it's a freaking Grindhouse cheese fan's dream. Totally. Of course, the scene Gaz discussed of Rostov, the lady is blowing cocaine on a mirror. Rostov smashes her face at the mirror and jams the straw up her nose, which like causes a nosebleed, then throws her out the window. So there's like a drug element there as well. I mean, Rostov definitely pulls off like the crazy, like lunatic villain. Very akin to Scorpio and Dirty Harry, guys. Of course, there's the bus scene with the kids singing row your boat, and if I'm not mistaken, Scorpio had the kids singing row your boat in Dirty Harry. So there's that struck me as like a very like Dirty Harry type element. It's not just because I'm a Zodiac Scorpio Clint Eastwood fanboy, although it kind of is. We'll rip up the Cuban thing was like seemingly random, but obviously anyone who knows about like the Bay of Pigs, like obviously I picked up what was going on there. When they dressed up as police, they came to like the Cuban dance hall and they shot. So that's like trying to bestow like, racial divide within southern U.S. Obviously you have, if you guys have seen Scarface, that there's like a massive, like Little Havana, a massive amount of Cuban immigrants in Miami and Florida. So that kind of, harkens back to that. This is a fact, Slipknot, but sometimes Pixie joins in late, so we'll see if she pops off. I mean, she held my feet to the fire on this one, Pixie, so we went big trying to get this online. Granted, I was like hard down like 10 minutes before we started this review. So we'll jump into a little plot, guys. A group of Cuban refugees is on a boat sailing for the United States. Oh yeah, I forgot about this scene, and is at first met by what appears to be a U.S. Coast Guard with armed personnel. I mean, just how sketchy they were all acting, Gaz. I mean, having never seen the movie, I knew that they weren't the U.S. Obviously, flying flags and dressing in U.S. Coast Guard uniforms is not going to cut it. And then like the blatantly European faces and accents, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, this is obviously not the U.S. Coast Guard. The captain of the vessel declares that the refugees are welcome to the United States, but the guardsmen open fire on them and take several bags of cocaine hidden in the boat. Okay, so that's where the cocaine came from. It is revealed that the armed personnel were Latin American guerrillas disguised as guardsmen on a boat hijacked by the Coast Guard vessel. He, if I'm not mistaken, Rostov like shakes the guy's hand to pull him aboard, right, and then draws the pistol and shoots him. Like that. This is where the cheese pops off, guys, because they just start blowing away unarmed Cubans, and then like 15 minutes later, Rostov's like, stop, cease fire. Yeah. Everybody sees the guy with the M60. First of all, he's shooting right over his captain's head.
And that theme's continued because there's a later scene where Rostov is wanting to pop off and Nico keeps saying, right, be patient, wait till we've got our people in place. And, you know, Rostov is just wanting to go insane. So it's kind of in a way teasing the audience. Yes, I described there is some moments where it does pop off and then slows back down again, but it's almost as if, hey, we're intentionally aware that we're doing a slow burn here, and we're going to keep you kind of wetting yourself for 45 minutes. And then when those 45 minutes are up, we're just going to go insane. And believe me, they do. Once it just started, it just gets more ridiculous and ridiculous.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Let's see. Eventually, the real Coast Guard finds the boat with the murdered American Coast Guardsmen off the coast of Florida. The FBI and the so I guess the FBI was involved, guys, but they just at no point like everybody knows that FBI essentially has their own like military force, right? Like a bit like when you play Payday and they rush you, you know. So that's what I'm expecting. It's like the FBI knows about them, but they haven't sent in the cavalry yet. It's just the whole like if this sort of thing. Just look at American history. If this sort of thing would have happened in the French, British, and Indian War, that's the up to the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812. Like we all responded in every single one of those events by pretty much sending everything we have. Yet somehow in Invasion USA, these guys are free to roam Florida with a massive foreign force.
It was one of those weeks that had the weekend off, you see, compared to real world history. So they couldn't quite respond in time for that week. But you're right. I mean, even if they couldn't muster a force, there's always been things such as a guy on a horse or running as fast as you can. You go back to any period in history, famous runner of marathon, etc., to warn the Greeks. That's always happened, or lighten the beacons. But this time. But in this instance, as I said, everyone's just got that weekend off, so there's nothing
it's happening. Like the Coast Guard knows about it now. Yeah. The FBI knows about it. That's two major of our divisions.
They don't think it's important.
Well, it was the summertime, so maybe the president gave the National Guard the vacation, as Gaz said. So it's all good. The FBI and the Miami-Dade Police Department arrived at the docks to investigate the murders. The guerrillas land in Florida and exchange drugs for weaponry from a drug dealer. They're led by the Soviet operative Mikhail Rostov, Richard Lynch, the fake Coast Guard captain who opened fire on the Cuban refugees. Really? Is that who that was? Former CIA agent Matt Hunter Norris is asked to come out of retirement, but he declines. When Rostov and a team of guerrillas destroy Hunter's residence in the Everglades and kill his friend, John Eagle, there you go, guys, played by Daryl Bertie, and who is a great character in a failed assassination attempt, Hunter is convinced to reconsider. So, yeah, I mean, you got a cheese scene where Hunter is chopping up the wood with the chainsaw, and then Rostov and the enemies are coming in on the Everglade boats. I don't think it ever explained where they got those, by the way, guys. So that was innovative on that invasion force. And then, it's got the cutaways to the pet armadillo that Hunter and Eagle had. Yeah. Which was, I thought one of the better elements because he's like, he survived a massive shootout with rockets. The armadillo still comes out of the steps. I'm like, yeah, it's akin to the dog surviving in Sisu. You know what I mean? Like just one of those complete explosions. But you can't kill the animal on screen, right? We all saw how John Wick 1 went. If you kill the animal on screen, that brings complete mayhem. So. Where was I going with that? Okay, so like the way they came in, that was actually some good shooting. The way they came in and out after they took out Eagle's kind of shanty shack there on the Everglades. again, it's 85. It's probably one of the worst cameras that we've watched out of any of the reviews we've did. I'm pretty sure Kurosawa's camera was better than this in the mid 60s.
It was.
So how digital film regressed into 85, needs to be studied. But yeah, that's the thing. Music I thought was amazing. I thought that did land. The camera is really bad. The sound editing is really bad. If you watch this on Tubi, let me know if you guys check it out, because like I said, for the first 22 minutes, especially in Rostov's accent, I could not hear a damn thing. So I switched it.
Boost the volume, yeah.
Yeah, I had to too. I had it on like 100, so I switched it over to a alternative source, as Gaz said, and then I got a little bit better audio there. So that was that. Later that day, hundreds of additional guerrillas land on the beaches of southern Florida and move inland using several pre-positioned trucks. The guerrillas begin their assault by destroying suburban homes. Oh yeah, so that's on the trailer. That's the setting up the Christmas tree trope. The Christmas setting is hilarious because it's obviously southeastern U.S. Florida and Atlanta. But I'm like, yeah, it's Christmas. Like, there's no snow. It's just basically nothing of a Christmas element except for just outdoor Christmas trees, which where I'm from in New England, that obviously wasn't a thing. You guys know I'm from New Hampshire, so I guess maybe they do that in the southern U.S. Although, as I said, half my family lives in Florida, and I don't ever recall that down there. So they start blowing up the homes with the RPG rockets. Another group of guerrillas impersonating Miami police is what Gaz was discussing. Attacks a community center full of Cuban expatriates in Miami. Essentially, that dude walks up and confronts them. It's a bit of a back and forth, and they shotgun him in the chest, Gaz. Yeah. So that guy got dispatched.
Yeah, and there's most as well. It's most of the villains with Rostov. There is a guy played by. They're all very trigger happy.
Mm-hmm. Very trigger happy.
I think I'm trying to find the character's name now,
which makes it all the more satisfying when Hunter handles them in the grand finale.
Oh, it does. And you are right. Just while I remember, you are right on the bus scene as well, linking that to Dirty Harry. I almost felt like they tried to expand that scene we'll come to that where it goes into the shopping mall. It kind of feels like they looked at that in Dirty Harry and thought, right, how can we add more onto that? And then, of course, you get that kind of like shopping mall Christmas kind of scene as well.
Yeah, that was sick. That was a bit like when Arnold's in the mall in Commando. Similar. This is obviously the Dade. I said what it was earlier. I believe it's the Dade something or other mall, Dadeland Mall. And I think Miracle Mile was that one that he went down with all the like prostitutes and drug dealers and the blues players. I don't know Miami that well, guys. So if you know it better than me, I'd feel chime in the chat or hit us in the comments. So like I said, been there several times, but far from an expert. So when a squad, I forgot about this, guys. When a squad car with genuine Miami policemen drives by to investigate the gunfire, the survivors angrily start vandalizing their car and leave the police perplexed. So that's obviously because of the imposter policemen, which are the communists. And it's funny, guys. Like mid '80s is such a good like lo-fi setting, a bit like how Rob Zombie does all his horror movies in the '70s. Because nowadays it's like, hey, they pulled up to our unoccupied beach in Miami. Hey, check the satellite, like GPS like that. Nowadays, you'd find them in 1 second with technology. But back then, oh my God, there's a whole army marauding around Florida and somehow no one could find them. It's
and I've got to say this as well, Ross. When you see that army first land on the beach, totally unopposed, apart as you said, from the young couple watching the TV there, it's almost like if you look carefully, they've done like a World Cup of communists. You see every faction represented there. There's even one of them, and I'm putting this as delicately as I can. There's even one of them there who's like waving them on. And they're all like, just that scene as if, hey, we've won the Gold Star vacation, or
the whole thing. Yeah, it's ridiculous, guys.
Wouldn't you think they'd be quiet as well, and yet they're all cheering? It's just like tell everyone.
Might as well be shooting their guns off. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna hear that? The FBI has no idea. Just going on with what we were both saying, the FBI has no idea who is behind the attacks, but Hunter, the CIA, believe that Rostov is behind the attacks. Now, mind you guys, this is pre 9/11, before the FBI and CIA used to talk to each other, because, you know, it's super difficult for the FBI to pick up the phone and tell the CIA who it is, right? Because that takes a whole
liaise with another department for the good of the country.
Yeah, Homeland Security. There's no Department of Homeland Security yet, guys. So remember, they can't interact with each other, because a 2-minute conversation with his, you know, his profile, his dossier would be real difficult. Hunter and the CIA believe that Rostov is behind the attacks. As terrorist acts continue in Miami, race riots and general chaos develop within the city, just as a terrorist planned. I mean, that's actually a dope concept. It's not, you know, quite fully realized in this film, but that is a dope concept.
Yeah, because they hinted it, because you're right. It's because when they get off the beach, when they land, and they've got all those, I don't know what to describe them. I think, weren't they like trash trucks that they were sending to all the different cities? They kind of had that, all these different kinds of
something
trucks,
like that. I can't remember exactly. I know they mentioned it.
And they had all the, like, right, they're going to go to Chicago, they're going to go wherever. Yeah. And for that reason, to kind of sow racial division, you know, distrust of the authorities, etc. So you are right. Yeah, that concept was good. It's just, we know this cheesy, entertaining, over the top kind of second half of the film is coming in, and that's just then what happens and overrides everything else. And I'm certainly not complaining.
Yeah, all plot just goes out the window once it becomes Hunter versus the unlimited legions of Rostov. Later that night, the guerrillas start a shootout and bomb threat a mall, which people are doing their Christmas shopping. During the attack, Hunter, having shaken down an informant, comes into the mall and takes down the guerrillas one by one. And it's actually an amazing sequence. Like, that's probably one, you know, this and the last are probably the two best fights of the film. Pretty hilarious when that dude drops, like, I guess they didn't have like a unidentified bag policy that every airport has in the modern age. So the Ruski drops that thing in the shopping area. I don't know if that guy was a mall manager or store manager. It didn't quite explain who that one dude that picked it up and chased him. Then the security guard's chasing him. So now there's two dudes chasing him. The dude is obviously running away, and yet he's coming after him with the bag. Like, sir, you forgot your bag. You forgot. And doesn't realize at any point,
suspicious.
Like, he's suspicious package. Did the term suspicious package not exist in 1985? So that you all obviously know what's coming is, you know, that dude runs away and the bomb explodes. Matt turns up from there, and he kind of starts taking down the troops.
He arrives in a Jeep, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
just threw into the mall.
Yeah, his Jeep is actually sick. I'll give him that. There's a lot of driving scenes, so that's definitely cool. Got to have the 4x4. Whenever he met up with that one agent dude who was like his handler or whatever, he gave him the plan, and the plan was obviously like send in National Guard to, you know, the thing that you would have thought would happen in the first 5 minutes of this movie is Matt Hunter, CIA agent's master plan. So he tells them, like, that's too many resources, that would be impossible. Yet they obviously show up, and like plot hole, they never explain how the president green lighted the resources to, you know what I mean, make that happen.
Well, they needed to get that consultant and being Matt and go through him in green, so it could be greenlit for everything, even above the president. You know, you can't do it without Matt.
As Gaz said, the chain of command was Matt Hunter, then the president, then the CIA. Oh my God, the president's got an order on his desk from Matt. Mind you, he's not even an active agent; he's a former agent. He doesn't even have any authority to do any of this.
Bro, there's a scene, I'm trying to behave until we get to it, but I'll just say for now, the way the plan is kind of interacted, and as we see what Matt is doing in preparation, he's just sat chilling.
Because he knows how it's going down. He doesn't need to prepare. He knows he's going to take down Rostov. He knows that, you know what I mean, he's going to drop any of the henchmen that get in the way. So he's not worried. He's unbothered. Having shaken down. Oh wait, no, I want to talk about when he shakes down the informant, because that was super dope. That was at the Cuban dudes. That one dude's car gets absolutely obliterated. So hilarious. Jeez,
that was hilarious. That
comedic relief.
Yeah,
I think one car pulls up and like hits his car and like nicks it, right, and he gets pissed at that. Then they go inside. Obviously a strip club. The dude takes a female to the I guess hotel rooms at the strip club, if you will. Hunter catches him in there, stabs him in the hand, and basically interrogates him, as it said, and then the other dudes come in. He goes and gets the jacked guy. You know, to be like, hey, what are you going to do now? Hunter just kicks him in the chest and knocks him down. They don't.
It's quite a good kick, actually.
Yeah, it's a good kick, but I mean, no punches thrown. I mean, you'd expect that big guy was going to at least try to get a few swings off.
It's Chuck. You know, he's got that aura, man.
Chuck completely ethers him with a kick, and then he tells him, if you come in here again, I'm going to give you so many rights that you're going to beg for a left. I mean, just one-liners galore. The guy is beast mode. So then you think that's bad. Right? So then he takes a grenade and he freaking unpins it and puts it in the guy's, like, what left good hand he has, because the other, I don't know if he's, the other hand was still in the knife or he got stabbed, whatever. Evasion USA, it doesn't matter. So the dude has the unpinned nade. The other guys are like, oh, you're crazy, man, run away. So the dude throws it through the window and then blows up the convertible, which is his boy's car. That's just totally random. That happens for no reason. Like, there was no other direction he could have threw it but out the window that landed directly in his friend's car. So that guy comes outside. He's like, you just get his reaction, like, oh, my car. It's a bit like Street Fighter when you have that car stage and you beat it up.
Yeah,
and you have my car.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
That was absolutely awesome. And there's so many hilarious scenes, and I mean, when we get there, even one of the last fights and just how that ends as well, even that's hilarious. And for weeks I was mentioning the briefcase, not as kind of a plot device, but the briefcase could be a character in its own right.
A bit like what's his name? Doctor Strange's cloak, is a solo character, Matt Hunter's briefcase.
Folks, sorry to disrupt the order of this review, but I'm going to have to say
it is what it is.
There's a moment where they're all the communists, and they've pretty much taken over everywhere, and they're all convinced no one's going to stop us. And like the way Matt Hunter, aka Chuck, just appears.
Yeah,
the briefcase.
I know what part you're talking about. So they create the explosive line with the fuse, and they're sitting there with the thing going, like flicking it, like, it's like, oh, why is it not working? Like dumb henchman moment, and then he pops up on the roof behind him, and he's like, hey guys, what's the matter? He has some line, I think it's in the trailer. He's like, hey guys, what's the matter? Is it not working for you? And he throws it down right next to him. Then he takes the two explosive wires and connects them together. He's like, now it will, and he connects it together and blows them up. Hilarious.
Dude, this had me in tears for
That's one of the best one-liners. That might be that and the bus bomb for all my Zodiac heads are probably my two favorite one-liners in the film. Completely hilarious.
Right, folks. Well, we'll try and get back on.
We'll try, but it's Invasive USA. This is what you guys wanted. National troops are called up. Martial law is declared in the city, and armed civilians organized to protect their communities from further guerrilla attacks. Honestly, you would have thought that would have happened a lot sooner, given that the U.S. population is the most armed population in the world. I live in San Diego. It's a military city, as you guys know. There's like 5-6 bases here. Try doing that in a San Diego neighborhood and see what happens. You're going to have the citizens self-arming and revolting much faster than they did in this film. But down south is no joke either. They got much more lax gun laws than we have, so they ain't playing around down there. Hunter continues pursuing the terrorists and thwarts their plans to bomb a church. I think maybe that was the suitcase. I don't know, guys. One community evacuates their children by school bus to safer rural areas, unknowingly containing a bomb planted by Nico Kador, Rustov's right-hand man. Hunter grabs it. We're going to unpack this scene. Fucking ridiculous. Hunter grabs the bomb for the moving bus, then throws it at the vehicle of Nico, who had been shadowing this, eliminating him. However, after arriving at a carnival bombed by the terrorists, Hunter realizes that they're spread out too far for him to stem the tide of their attacks effectively, and so devises an alternative plan. Okay, yeah, that's the moment that he devises the alternative plan. Okay, so there's basically roadway construction, and Nico and the goons cut through that, knocking down all the... First of all, like, I'm sure UK is not much different, guys. 90% of the time on roadways construction, there's like those highway patrol officers that like have their cruiser next to it, just like make sure nothing goes wrong, everything's safe. Completely devoid in this scene. That's fine.
Weekend off, bro.
Yeah, everybody, Highway Patrol, National Guard, Coast Guard, FBI, CIA.
It's a holiday we don't know about yet.
Yeah, it was Christmas, but this seemed seemingly a much longer New Year's holiday, maybe a pagan holiday or something. So, so they drive through. They're knocking down all the little cones and everything that's set up for the construction zone. Matt's got the whatever it is, Jeep 4x4 four-wheeler. They get ahead of him. They drive up with the sticky remote bomb, which, you know, they've been using RPGs all movie. So is there a reason why they didn't just RPG the school bus? You know what I mean? Oh, they decide to go with actually, you know what? We said Dirty Harry, and I mentioned Scarface earlier, Gaz. This was a lot like the one when Tony Montana got pissed when the assassins were going to put the under the car of like 80s style cheese, and Tony's like, no women, no children. So he ends up killing those dudes because he doesn't want to go through with it. This is like a mixture of the Dirty Harry scene and the Scarface scene. So they go up, they plant the sticky remote bomb on the side of the bus, and they start to get away because Matt is still way behind in the traffic. It's down to one lane. So then Matt does the same thing. He cuts around and just drives through the construction zone, catches up to him. Incoming cheese one-liner. He has a couple struggles where he can't reach the thing while driving. It gets down to like 10 seconds or something, guys. Like it was like 200 seconds, and it gets down to like nothing, which is like, okay, you know, like a bit of like that show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, bit of a countdown moment. Grabs it, somehow manages to gain that ground, Gaz, in between when those guys had like a 5-minute head start on him in a Jeep, which has garbage acceleration. Gets up to him. Hey, you guys forgot this, or hey, you guys forgot something? It was did you forget this? Rolls up to him, pops it on there, whips off, boom, dispatches of Nico. Probably second best death scene in the film. Absolutely hilarious though. Smoked him. Car full of goons.
Chuck can move in ways that we've yet to discover and unlock in ultra speed and then ultra slow motion if need be. And I think 100%. That's what he did in that moment.
Yes, I think so too.
So
he's a better driver. He's a better driver. Totally. He can drive a slower car with slower acceleration, still make the ground because he's Matt Hunter. He's a better fighter, better driver. He's ready for all situations. Bit of an early transporter.
It's like Chow Yun-fat looked and got that inspiration. Thought that's how I'm going to do my bullet time on movies. I thought, there we go. So I say this is so legendary, man.
Only thing that could have made the film better, bullet time. That's the only thing that's the only thing they could have added. You know, and maybe cut down a little bit of that filler intro. But had they added bullet time, or had they got John Woo to direct, that's the only way they could have outdone this. There it is. Bombs it. Wikipedia kind of got it wrong. He said he threw it at the vehicle of Nico, but I thought he stuck it to them, like how it was stuck.
I thought he did as well.
The bus, yes. I think step your game up, Wikipedia. You're not getting your Grindhouse movies right. However, after arrived the colonel, so he realizes that he needs to devise an alternative plan. As I said, alarmed by the threat, the government establishes a special theater command for the southeastern United States with the headquarters at the Georgia Pacific Tower in Atlanta. And again, you know, how this didn't happen on the initial invasion, and it occurs 2 hours into the movie. Just amazing. But at the command center, all 50 state governors and military officials, like, first of all, what do they need all 50 state governors if it's only Florida and Georgia? That's 2 out of, you know, there's 48 states that have basically no effect of this event. It's fine. State governors, military officials meet to stop the terror attacks. The FBI takes Hunter into custody for vigilantism against the terrorists, and he's taken down to the command center. Oh yeah, I forgot when they caught him. That was an interesting scene. Caught him, knowing damn well that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, it was. That was quite interesting.
Knowing damn well nothing's gonna happen to him, just to base the earlier plot of the movie. Take a command center where he goads Rostov on national television to come out and kill him. Rostov orders all the guerrillas to assault the center. This was obviously his plan, in a mass attack, but they find no one inside. You know, it started to turn up here. I did like the empty office building setting. That kind of gave me They Live vibes at the end when they go through the radio office.
I definitely, even the way Chuck's kind of dressed a bit, and I know They Live obviously comes a few years after, but, you know, like with his denim shirt, G, still with the guns are strapped as well. Definitely had that Roddy Piper vibe. But that was quite good, because when you saw all those officers vacated, it did kind of have a bit of an eerie vibe. I thought it was quite good to set the tone as well. And I mean, this fight, what we're about to break down for you folks, there's one comedic scene I kind of mentioned it earlier, which we'll get to in a moment. This is just, it's like, yeah, the last kind of 20 minutes or so, right? So let's just go in hardcore and make this totally over the top and as entertaining as we can be.
100%, 100%. Yeah, so obviously it's basically abandoned building, and also I would say similar to the John Woo movies. I forget which one that is. Hard Boiled, Better Tomorrow, right? Those are the next two. That one where they kind of have the hospital and they're in like that big building, and then at the end, like the dude, we're obviously going to talk about the final death, but it's a similar to that out of the window explosion kind of thing, which I don't know what years those were, if those were before or after this, but either way, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Hunter's arrest was a trap. Oh, you don't say. And the National Guard arrives with tanks and troops, which hems the assailants in. While the battle rages outside, Hunter finally comes face to face with Rostov. So yeah, we could. I'm sure you want to break down this fight, guys. So.
Yeah, just before we get to this fight, and I mentioned this earlier, I absolutely, man, laughed out loud the way Matt Hunter's just sat there, I think, on his bed, isn't he, watching the TV, and almost, and they come to get him after. It's almost as if they're arriving to say, "Okay, Chuck, last 20 minutes, go do your thing."
Yeah, we've come to arrest you. And like, first of all, why do we even need to see that scene? Because if it's his plan that he's going to be fakely arrested anyway, we don't need to see that scene. It can just pick up when he's in the facility and he does the TV thing. Like obviously.
the way he was just chilling there, and I think he's like drinking a soda or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
And for plot continuity wise, that of him getting caught or whatever, that has absolutely nothing to do with the next sequence, other than it sets up the empty, trap building. So yeah, I think Greg brought this up when we did a Game of Death, but again, another final big bad that doesn't have martial arts proficiency clearly. Versus Chuck Norris, so that in the hand-to-hand, Chuck's going to butcher him, a.k.a. Matt Hunter. So he's got the dual Uzis off. I know after he takes out all the baddies, basically exploding bodies. I think did he have the extra clips tucked into his belt, guys? I think that's what he had in front of the denim.
I think so. Doesn't he pick up some more weapons? Doesn't he pick up an assault rifle or something in there when he's out of ammunition? I think.
Yeah.
I remembered that correctly.
I'm not sure what's going on, brother, but your level is kind of going up and down a little bit. I'm not.
All right, okay, I'll work on that right now, folks.
Yeah, I just turned it up a little. It's like it's never happened before. I'm not sure what's going on.
Red Cloud,
what up, G? Hopefully you're an Invasion USA Chuck Norris Matt Hunter fan.
There we go, folks. Putting it back.
Okay, it sounds a little bit better. Turn you back down a bit. So yeah, I think he does pick up some other weapons there. I know he takes off he has the Uzi strap, so he takes off those. Lays them on the ground when he ejects those final clips when they're out. And then I thought he picked up a pistol or something. Anyway, so him and Rostov kind of have this like back and forth face off, and they kind of go at each other. There's a bit of hand to hand. Hunter hits him with a couple kicks and sends him over a cubicle. I remember that gag. There's a few different gags, and then ultimately. I don't know what Rostov had for a weapon, but when the battle rages outside, Hunter finally comes face to face with Rostov and kills him with the M72 Law. The terror crisis ends when the few remaining guerrillas on the street surrender to the National Guard. And like it is a pretty good cutback between Hunter's fight with Rostov and the National Guard mowing down the bad guys outside. So some good filming there of the duel scene, kind of side by side, if you will. But when he hits him, when the body explodes out the window, guys, all I could think of, I know I mentioned like the John Woo thing, which was like similar because at the end the dude comes out the window, but was that body doll that we were talking about in Game of Death falling through the sides. I was like, it was similar, except it was just like what the game Rise of the Triad calls Luscious Gibbs, which is just the body parts, the flaming body parts. But he launched an M72 rocket. There's a little bit of CGI fire or whatever CGI was at 85. Those curtains don't even really catch on fire, and the plant next to it just has some mild flames to it. So you're telling me if you launched a M72 rocket that hit a guy in the window, it wouldn't totally decimate and just completely evaporate that whole wall. It's just like a little bit of, it's almost like a small brush fire. I'm like, what?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it is a hilarious end scene, folks. It is. I can't remember now, but there is a cheesy. I'm sure there's a cheesy one-liner when Chuck blasts him through the window. Slip. Suffering now, and it's not nice, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it was time to die or because he kept on saying that to everybody, right? Like, tell him to get ready.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Now it's your time. Yeah. And it's good. You're right. The cutbacks, the shot of them outside was pretty good as well. And you see the tanks and of course the National Guard. So I did like that, but I think doesn't it end quite abruptly after that, and then you just get the credits roll.
That's what I was going to come to. It was just like Game of Death. Which Game of Death, obviously, like the lead star died during production, so that makes sense. But with this, it was just like, okay, 2-hour movie, out of budget, we're over. And it was just like, as soon as the body parts exploded out the window, I think it might have had a shot of Matt, and then it just rolled credits. It's just like, what? They're not going to explain any of that. Does he go back to the CIA? What? His plan obviously worked. It doesn't give you any of the political angle, FBI, Miami-Dade Police, National Guard, Coast Guard. You don't find out what happens to any of them. The rest of the bad guys surrendered. You assume that they'd put them in some sort of like concentration camp or deport them back to Cuba. So yeah, as far as the great mystery of what happened, who knows?
Even I thought they could have done this, and it wouldn't have been like high end on the budget side of things either, man. But if they just had even like a news reporter kind of reading out
that would be cool.
The status quo, hey, everything's back under control now, blah 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 blah. Something like that. But it's kind of like, okay, we're done. There you go.
Yeah.
See
ya. Like Boondock Saints when they interviewed the people on the ground, or like They Live, how it does like the little newsroom montage. Like, and you could even, because there were so many of them, you could have even had like one of the bad guys escaped in a boat to like allude to a sequel, or you know what I mean, like something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was like it'd be unlikely that they would have caught all of them, and then obviously they were. Obviously planning a semi-sequel with Avenging Force. They could have ended it in some way to like, hey, Matt Hunter, or he goes back and they give him, they make him an agent again. So then it's like, okay, he might have another mission. Like any of that would have done, but nope. The movie's over. The 2-hour budget, and Rostov got hit with a rocket launcher, and that was that.
Resolved. I mean, you could have even had an over-the-top sequel. I know Avenging Forces, we've said, is kind of like the semi-sequel, but something like, I don't know. Invasion fictional villain homeland from where they're from, and it's Matt Hunter essentially invading their one-man army, taking everything out.
That would have been sick.
He can just walk on the beach, walk past any security protocols that may be there, because Matt Hunter, aka Chuck Norris, that's what Chuck can do, and that's what Chuck does.
Send him to Cuba or send him to Russia, have like a reverse Red Dawn.
That
would be sick. So yeah, not too much on that one. Shout out to Pixie for bringing this up and hitting us with the donation. We can talk about box office. It debuted at number 1 box office with 6.9 million. The film made 17.5 million at the U.S. box office, 24 million overseas. I don't care to do much about the critical response. Legacy. Norris later said some sequels were a little too much. You see, when you're making a movie, it takes over 5 months. Not until you bring it down to an hour and a half do you see just what you've done. It was too much, unfortunately. A sequel, Avenging Force, was released in 86. A novelization released in October 85.
Nice.
We can talk a bit about the production because there's not too many notes. You got something?
I was just thinking, I was just coming to a final rating already. It's because I'm too amped. I was just thinking, look, forget Shakespeare, forget learning all these, arty-farty kind of words and everything like that. Invasion USA should be the syllabus for every schoolboy going, let's replace Shakespeare with that. That's all I was just going through my head. Just
film school.
Yeah,
film school
totally.
or film courses. Before you do Kurosawa and the spaghetti westerns, make sure you start with Invasion USA. So yeah, I mean, like a lot of these, like Norris films were like before my time, guys. So like I wasn't quite as big into these as I was in some of the other ones, the vigilante stuff we covered and whatnot, and even this one has some of the kind of similar pacing problems. But again, it's just it's a bit like similar in concept to Red Dawn, but one man army of just Hunter instead of the whole whatever those guys were of that football team in Red Dawn. They were like the Wildcats or something.
It's like a film version of some of those games we've played where there's like been a small squad of us and we've had to fight off some mass invasion and literally it's like it's been me, you, and Mac. That's it. Like 3 of us. They couldn't find anybody else.
Yeah,
so we had to go in.
Yeah, like that game Black on PlayStation back in the day was crazy. The film is the first in a 6-film contract Norris signed with Canon Films following the success of Mission in Action. Norris said he got the idea to make the film after reading an article in Reader's Digest that said hundreds of terrorists were running loose in the United States. I thought, boy, that's scary. What if some guy on the order of a Khomeini or Gaddafi mobilized those guys and started sending them to every major city? I know it's going to happen, and even if in the movie the head terrorist says it's so easy because of the freedom and the movement of this country, so we're really accessible to this. The movie is not meant to scare people, to make us aware of a potential problem yet. Thanks, Chuck. We're trying to make a statement here. He added, this is about the people of the United States. The film was given a $12 million budget, twice what Norris Films had originally gotten before. There was a sequence in the Everglades costing $2 million. Norris's fee was almost $2 million. Shooting took 10 weeks. Norris says he wanted the role of the female journalist to be played by Whoopi Goldberg, who had been an extra in A Force of One. Goldberg was enthusiastic. However, the director, Joseph Zito, overruled Norris. Needless to say, I've never used that director again, Norris wrote later. So that's the reason why he didn't want to use that director. Like, because Whoopi Goldberg almost played a role that really didn't matter. According to the 2014 documentary Electric Boogaloo, The Wild Untold Stories of Canon Films, the scene in which terrorists destroy houses in a suburb with rocket launchers featured explosions in actual houses. Hatfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport was going to bulldoze an entire suburban neighborhood to extend a runway, so the filmmakers were allowed to destroy the existing houses. Similar, part of the Avondale Mall was rebuilt, so the filmmakers were allowed to destroy everything in the actual mall. Okay, that's awesome. I'm sure Minty covered that on the top 10. Norris said the sequence cost $5 million. There are tanks firing and helicopters flying among the real buildings. It's a battle like in Gone with the Wind, one of the best action battle scenes that's ever been done so far. Yeah, I mean, I could almost see the correlation between that and Civil War, which was that A24 movie that came out not too long ago. But there you go, guys. Production notes. Invasion USA, ridiculously filmed. We'll try to get Avenging Force going when Gaz and I are ready. We're off next week, guys, filming Zodiac Files main series, episodes 5 and 6. If you want to try to throw down for travel and me and Gabe's room and all the equipment we got to get up there, you can check the links below. We got Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, the PXR, PFX, PayPal. You mean how old is Bolo now, or how old was he in those films? I think he was like 35 in Enter the Dragon and Bloodsport, around that. I'm not sure how old he is now. I think he was in a few things recently, Gaz. You were saying that.
His son. The last Kumite, which will myself and Ross will get looking at for you. Features a lot of
Bolo Young
action stars. I think David Young I think it's that Bolo's son.
I think you're saying that.
The last Kumite.
When we did Bloodsport,
yeah.
Good stuff. Well, he's 78 now. Holy crap, dude. Bolo's the GOAT. Bloodsport. Kumite. Every time you guys bring up Enter the Dragon or Bloodsport, me and Gaz are just going to sing the Kumite song to you. You know that now, right?
Ghost of Stanbush. Haunting.
Yeah,
my remastered version.
Yeah, but my breakdown, guys, action cheese, amazing. Norris is the GOAT. I thought the music was awesome. You know, the sound mixing, however, was probably the worst I've ever seen in a movie. The camera definitely needed work. It sucks they spent so much money on some of these expensive battle scenes and you just can't really get a good picture out of it. But I mean, that was the mid 80s. was what it was. Matt Hunter, definitely a dope character. You guys can watch it free on Tubi. It's got a 5.5 on IMDb. I'm probably at like a 6.5, 7. I gave it a 6 on here, so I'd probably be a 6.5, 7 to be honest with you. Where you at, guys?
I'm gonna rate this quite high, actually. I know it's a ridiculous movie. I found it so entertaining, absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably go for about 7 or 8. First part of the movie, yes, as Ross said, the pacing's a bit off, but once it starts, it's just utterly hilarious.
When it goes,
entertaining. So yeah, when it goes, it goes. It actually made me curious to see what some of these other action movies are like. I mean, I looked at American Ninja, which I haven't finished yet, which were also from the Canon Group, which Invasion USA was from. So it made me curious about the missing in action movies.
Same.
Some of the others. Avenging Force, which we'll get to see kind of if there is that semi-linkage to Invasion USA. Quite interested in that.
Yeah, my understanding is it's like just the character's name, but
the character's name, and that's about it.
We'll deep dive it for you guys. Definitely pumped to get that. The release date's in September, so we might not get to it till the fall, but we'll try to get it early on the schedule. Like we said, nothing next week. We're off for filming. Let me check the schedule, guys. Did I have our next one when we come back?
I know we have Striking.
Yes, Striking Rescue. Tony Jaw's returns. I'm pumped to get Gaz's feet. Hold on. Universal Soldier 1. I think that was.
Dude, gotta do that.
You were speaking about that. We have Universal Soldier 1 on the 12th when I get back for the North Bay. Then we have Striking Rescue on the 19th, and I have Sword of Doom for the 26th. So that'll do it for July. We're still working on filming out August, so we'll get that stuff. We might do a reaction to the Crow indie trailer, Days of Sodom. That's the indie Crow movie that I was featured in a fight scene. If you haven't already heard, there's a new article about me in the channel on Bold Journey. I posted the link under posts, and it's on Patreon and my X, so you can follow me there. So yeah. Break next week. We come back. We do Unisoul. Should be sick. Shout out to Fire Pixie for throwing down and putting up on this. Like I said, if you want to throw down any donations, of course you can join the Patreon as a member. You can join. You can click join below and 3 levels of memberships on the channel. Obviously, subscribe if those aren't an option for you. And then if you want to just do like a one-off donation, like Quentin Broom did, you can hit the PayPal, the Venmo, the Cash App. We take all that, or just message me wherever you have me on. What was I going to say there to message me on? Where's the easiest place for you guys to message me? Email. It's on the channel. So you can hit me there. That's that. Like we said, Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs coming up. Probably will take a while to edit them, so don't get your hopes up. I'm Ross Hunter. He's Jack Death, a.k.a. Gaz Hunter. And shout out to everybody who came through. Slipknot, Red Cloud. Shout out for Pixie for throwing down. So another week off next week, guys, for the 4th. And then we will be back for Universal Soldier 1, and that should be sick. Definitely pumped for that. So, as of Mr. T having a fear of flying, I could not tell you, brother. I don't know that much about Mr. T other than he's epic as Clubber Lang in the Rocky franchise, and I was a big fan of the 2-on-2s he did with Hogan and Piper in the WWF Legacy. But we can look into that for you. We'll check it out. But Invasion USA. Go ahead, guys.
To say if he ever had Chuck with him, he wouldn't have been.
No, because when Chuck goes into air, Chuck doesn't fly. Air gets Chuck Norris. So I mean, that's just basic physics. I mean that's not even from the tenets of Chuck Norris. I just made that one up. So I think that'll do it for today, guys. Invasion USA. Shout out to Gaz and Pixie for bringing that one for us. And I know it's kind of hot out there. So if you want to lock in on the Zodiac stuff, join the channel membership. Of course, subscribe, like, sub, share. Head over to Mosh Shinobi and go rock with Gaz over there. And like I said, we'll be coming back for Universal Soldier after the holiday next week. Everybody have a good 4th. Rest in peace to Darlene Farron and Mike Michaud, the victims of the Blue Rock Spring attack, which occurred July 5th, approximately 12:10 a.m. 1969. So you guys will see a deep dive of that when I cover both Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs and the episodes of the main series, Zodiac Files Episode 5 and Zodiac Files Episode 6. So, feel free to say if you guys want more Norris, if you want more Van Damme, Dolph, whatever you guys want, 80s cheese, Grindhouse, you know how we do it over here, action, sci-fi, horror, crime. I am going to try to get to 28 years later, guys. I don't know if you saw it yet.
No, I'm not really the biggest fan of those movies, but if it's something we do cover, then I would go and watch it. But uh, saying that, I'll probably go and see it if there's nothing else to see. So
Yeah, I like the first two. Shout out what you guys. If you guys want something new, if you want Ballerina, which we both saw, if you want 28 years, we could do that. Otherwise, we're just going to stick to PXF classics and do kind of what we've been sticking to: spaghetti westerns, Kurosawa, samurai film, and we will switch that up. We are going to get the Zodiac Ghost of the Movies going very soon. We'll do like Rampage, Badlands, and a few things of that.
Pixie. You're late. We finally got to it. We finally got to it, and you come in right at the end.
We're leaving.
Yes, Slip. I've seen Killer Elite. Is that where he goes undercover and actually infiltrates the? I have to be careful how I say things on here. Infiltrates the special forces unit.
I need to run it back because I believe it's a remake. I forget who's in the original. It's like a 70s or 80s. It might be like James Caan or someone like that. And then if I'm not mistaken, unless it's just the same title, if I'm not mistaken, the Robert De Niro Statham one is a remake. Pixie, you screwed us.
Yeah. As Ross said, if you want us to look more at these like kind of cheesy action movies, it's been a long time since I've seen it slip. Just briefly remember it.
If you're talking about the A24 movie, Cloud, I think it's already out. I saw it it was on my TV. It popped up.
Yeah.
So I think Warfare. I do want to see Warfare. Warfare has a really good trailer. Like I said, Civil War had its moments.
I mean, we could even. I mean, here's total cheese for you, and I think I've only ever seen one or I can't remember how many of these movies there are, and I think I've seen one or two of them on TV. But the kind of B-movie versions of Conan, Beastmaster. If you want us to suffer them, you could even.
If you want us to get in our sword and sandal bag, sword and sorcery, a la when we did our Conan the Barbarian review. Yeah, if you really want me and Gus to get me medieval on that ass, hit us with what you got. But and I know you put up a few suggestions, Slip, so we'll work on getting those in the schedule, and then Fire Pixie. The Invasion USA was for you, so run it back from the beginning. And we were a little bit late, Pixie. We had some internet issues. So.
I did say this, Pixie, though, and I hope this gets us some points. I did say I do firmly believe people should stop learning Shakespeare in literature classes, that it should be replaced with Invasion USA. That needs to be the syllabus. So I hope that does it for you. That said,
Norris says,
"We're going to wrap up. I'm just going to keep goofing off."
Yeah, we're about to. Norris is goated. I just wanted to get my most dangerous game back in the frame for when me and Gazzy do Avenging Force coming up. So we'll get Avenging Force going. Pixie, like I said, if you ever have one of your picks and like Sunday works better for you, we can always bump the show. It's not a big deal because I know you threw down on this one. So that's what it is, guys. I'm away filming next weekend. So, hey, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm still looking for a couple actors to play some extras on our set for a reenactment we're doing. So if anybody has anything on that, the North Bay area or SF Bay area actors, hit me up. I know. You screwed us. You were talking crap to me all those weeks, and then look what happened. This is how our audience repays us. All right, guys. Gas is melting over there. We're going to get out of here. Invasion USA. That was a dope review. Everybody go check out the top 10 Minty Comedic Arts Invasion USA. He did Dodgeball recently. He did Tropic Thunder, and he did Invasion USA recently. So it's one of my favorite channels. So little tidbit for you guys. UFC picks, though. We can drop those for Pixie before we get out of there.
Yeah.
Guys is a big Ilya guy. I'm with the complete opposite-ish. So I'm going to go with my boy, Charles. Go Bronx, Oliveria. Let's get that sub. He just needs to stay out of the way of the striking, and he's good.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Hoping for the upset, Kai Kara France. I'm not a big Pantoja guy, so that's where I'm at. And then I think Talbot is the other fight. I really haven't even looked at the card much, to be real with you. Is there a third banger on there? UFC tonight, Pixie. You watching it? Main card. Okay. I don't really have any skin in the game for Royval versus Van. I'm probably gonna go Royval. Beneil Dariush, the douche, as Connor called him, versus Moicano. I don't know. I kind of like them both, and they have a similar record. Beneil has 2 more wins. Maybe Moicano, but I rock with Beneil too. And Talbot, Costa's fight got dropped. and looks like Hermanson and Gregory Rodriguez RoboCop on the prelims. So I might go with RoboCop on that. What about you, Gazzy?
Pretty much the same as you. I like Oliveira though as well, and I like Ilya. I do, but yeah, I'm actually going to go with Oliveira. I think, like you said, if he keeps his distance,
works the kicks, works the takedowns,
works the kicks, executes his timing well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's Ilya's first fight at 155. So, I mean, Ilya was decimating people at feather. I don't know. Is he going to have the same knockout power or more? That's what's going to be the interesting element. But anyway, yeah, PXF shirts. Go get your gear. My hoodie finally came in. I ordered it so I could rock it for the winter for you guys. Now I got to blast the AC so I wear it during the reviews. But, yeah, we're off next week, guys. So holla at us. And we'll be back for Universal Soldier on the break.
Everyone have a good one. Don't forget to keep that water with you when you're watching Vision USA. Believe me, you'll need it because you'll be sweating with excitement. We'll see you next time, y'all.
It's a classic film. Peace out, guys. Yep. Hit us up. Tune in next time. Like, sub, share.